Michelle and welcome to Thanks for Dinner. Today we are going to make a Mardi Gras king cake. I've made a king cake before. There's a lot of fun to make. I cannot find a baby to put in it anywhere around me, so we're just going to make it without it. So this is what we're going to need: vanilla, salt, cinnamon, flour, eggs, almond extract, nutmeg, butter. This is yeast, honey, and milk. So I have a half a cup of milk in this measuring cup. I've warmed it up in the microwave for a few seconds. I'm going to add 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, which is 1 little packet. I buy yeast in bulk since I bake so much. And then we're going to add a tablespoon of honey. I have sprayed my tablespoon with non-cooking spray so that my honey will slide right out. Tablespoon of honey in a tablespoon sprayed with non-cooking spray. Add that to a mixture, and then I'm going to stir it up. We're going to set it aside for a few minutes until the yeast activates and it starts to bubble. I've melted my half cup butter in this bowl. I'm going to pour it into my mixer. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to add a 1/4 of a teaspoon of almond extract. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Some grated nutmeg. Teaspoon of salt. My yeast mixture is nice and bubbly. I'm going to add that. And I'm going to add 2 eggs. 1 and 2. Those will all also go in my mixer. And then I'll beat that up for a second. Okay, I have all my wet ingredients and my seasonings in my mixer. I'm gonna mix that up for a couple seconds. Okay, to my wet ingredients in my mixer, I'm gonna add 2 cups of flour to start. Once the liquid mixture and the 2 cups of flour have combined, I'm gonna switch to the dough hook and combine the rest of the flour. I'm gonna scrape off the paddle attachment. I'm gonna scrape down the edges of the bowl, and then I'll add my dough hook and then add the rest of the flour. Now I'm gonna add my remaining cup to 1.25 cups of flour. Okay, my dough has been kneading for a few minutes with the dough hook. It looks nice and smooth. It's not sticking to the sides of the bowl. It smells delicious. So I'm going to cover this bowl and put it in a warm spot and let it rise for about an hour. Okay, so my dough is almost done rising. I'm going to work on the filling for the cake now. I got 4 tablespoons of butter, 2/3 cup of brown sugar. The recipe calls for dark brown sugar. I don't have any right now, so I'm just going to use light brown sugar. Some nutmeg. A little bit of salt. And some cinnamon. All right, I'm going to mix this up, and this will be the filling for the cake. Okay, my dough has doubled in size. And dump it out. And I'm going to roll it into a 12 by 24 inch rectangle. Okay, I have my dough rolled out. It's about 12 by 24 inches. I'm going to spread the filling all over it. Okay, I have my dough all rolled out. I have the filling all over it except for the top about 1 inch. So I'm going to roll it up from the bottom and make a little log here. And the start of it's a little bit harder, and then it gets easier. All right, and then it says make sure you pinch the edge and seal it. Okay. I'm going to roll this back and forth a couple times to make sure it's all sealed. All right, and then I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to make a slit all the way down. And I'm actually going to cut the log in half. And then I'm going to twist the 2 halves together. So I have a parchment lined cookie sheet here. I'm going to move this onto here, and then I'm going to make a circle with the twist. Okay, I'm going to cover this and let it rise a second time, 45 to 60 minutes. I'm going to make some colored sugar to top the king cake. Just like I couldn't find the little baby to put in my cake, I could not find Mardi Gras colored sugar. So I'm going to try to make my own. I've never done this before, so hopefully it works. And I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of sugar in each of these. I'll do one of the bowls yellow. I'll start with 4 drops. Okay, I'm going to do 4 drops of green. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. Here's my yellow, my green, and my purple. So I'll just set these aside until the cake is done, and then these will go on top. My cake has come out of the oven. I'm going to put it on a cooling rack and let it cool off for a little while, and then I'll make the glaze for it. So for the glaze, you need milk, powdered sugar, and vanilla. I'm going to take 1.5 cups of powdered sugar and put it in this bowl and combine it with 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk to get the right consistency that I want. Teaspoon of vanilla, and we'll start with 2 tablespoons of milk. Stir that up. So my cake has cooled off. I have my glaze here. I'm gonna pour it over the top of the cake. Once I get it all poured on top of the cake, I'm gonna sprinkle it with my colored sugars. This smells so delicious. I think my family is going to be very happy to have this for dessert tonight. Get as much of that out as possible. That looks pretty good. And then I'll sprinkle it with sugar. Yellow, green, and purple. cake all done.